Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's supposed to be inside greenhouse day, so we'll get there in a moment. I just checked because all the potatoes have been dying for various reasons. I went digging, so there's a few potatoes hiding down there. So we'll save that for the weekend, and we'll do a potato harvest, I guess we'll call it. Other than that, it's supposed to be 109, 110 at the end of this week. So we'll see how things are going. Corn is kind of hit and miss. There's some skinny stalks in there that didn't do real well, and the beans have not been doing real great. But I'll update all of that in the next video. So it's just more of, yeah, there's potatoes out there. They're not huge, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's supposed to be 110 in a couple of days, so I'm hoping that everything goes well in the greenhouse. The biggest thing is the smaller tomatoes are starting to ripen. I've already picked a couple and they taste really good. A couple of these are ready to pick. I'm just kind of staging them when I pick them. And you got a little bundle here, and then the other ones are all green that are on the plant. So hopefully, I'll get a good stagger so I'm not tomatoed out. There's one of our new resident ladybugs. We'll talk about oh, look. Yeah, I got ladybugs all over the top of the greenhouse. And a couple changing color in there, but there's tons of tomatoes hanging out in here, so my neighbors and some other people may get some gifts this year. But look at that truss, isn't that cool? Peppers got aphids, so I've been trying to give it a day or two for the ladybugs to do their job, but they're not going to eat all of them. But I need to spray, but I need to be careful when I spray because I can kill the ladybugs. So yeah, nice trade-off, right? I probably need to pick that pepper in there and give the plant some more energy to do what it needs to do. I think I've shown these before, but check out that. Isn't that cool looking? What's really neat is I've been trimming back what's been growing at the top, and I've been letting some of it go. So like this one's hanging loose. It's just kind of hanging there. There's a support. But a couple of these, like this one, it's actually grown up and it's kind of wrapped. The leaves have wrapped around this, so it's actually kind of supporting itself, which is kind of a help. But we've got cherry tomatoes doing their thing in here. I ate a couple the other day. They were actually really good. Again, there's nothing like a fresh homegrown tomato, right? Again, we have some grape tomatoes here. They're big grape tomatoes too. I mean, they look like a small Roma, like I've said before, but they're like 3 times the size. Oh, well, I guess we got a volunteer. They're like 3 times the size of the grape tomatoes you get in the store. But that's how these Juliet grape hybrids, how they work. Put that in my pocket. Hopefully I don't forget it. And then again, this is the other cherry tomato. So, there's cherry tomatoes everywhere, right? You get a tomato, you get a tomato, you get a tomato. I need to do some support, and I need to do some work in here. It's just been so hot, but these plants are kind of scrawny. I've never grown serranos before, but I've grown jalapenos, and the jalapenos is a little beefier plant. But yeah, there we go. There's our first spotted serrano of the season. Spotted meaning seen, not spotted. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, this plant's just kind of taken over this empty space where these other buckets are supposed to go, and I don't have big enough plants to put the other 2 buckets, so I guess it's a trade-off. We've talked about the tons of tomatoes that are hanging out in there, so that's not the biggest deal. So the biggest deal is, let me see if I can find it. Well, there's what I thought was the biggest deal was this tomato changing color. But what I found, and it's hiding back there, I've got 2 medium ones hanging out back there. They're not ready to pick yet, so the big tomatoes are starting to ripen, so that is the big news. We'll see how far they get after the heat. So when the heat spikes, they start to ripen pretty quick, right? So we'll see what happens. And this one's been overgrowing. This technically it's not a walkway because my big butt can't fit through there. It'd have to be tiny, and I'm not hobbit size. The other thing that I thought was interesting is I didn't think that these would get much taller, but I think they've grown maybe a foot in the last couple of weeks. I haven't been trimming them at all. I mean, I did minimal trimming. I just kind of let them do their thing, where these other ones, I give them a pretty good haircut at the bottom, and it needs another haircut, but so you get some airflow. I kind of left these because these are short, fat, and stocky plants, and I just said, you know what, let me just leave it like it is between the 40% shade cloth that sits over this portion of it and the leaves. Hopefully it'll give the tomatoes a little bit of cover from the heat, and we'll see what happens. I have done no hand pollinating in months. I just figured, you know what, if it's windy enough, which it has been, then I should get decent yield. So we'll see what happens as we progress. That's really it. Guess we could talk about these plants that I haven't put out in the dirt yet. I'm going to put these out hopefully this weekend. I said that I think the last 2 weekends, but just haven't got around to it. This bay leaf plant is looking pretty healthy, except for the one crispy leaf there in the corner. I've been trying not to overwater it because that apparently is a problem with the bay leaves. And I'm really scared to see if it has any roots, because they apparently root, I think I've discussed, really slow. It can take months. This one's still doing its thing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move this one in the outside. And I don't see these 3 doing anything, so I'm guessing they're probably dead, but I'm going to leave them there until I give up hope. And the last thing I noticed is a bunch of ants rolling around here, so I need to get some ant spray. I got some in the house. I just noticed them for the first time. So the ants like to bury themselves, or burrow, whichever, in the pots. So I'll spray a little bit of ant spray. The Raid Ant and Garden in the green can works pretty well. Just throw down a little bit to try to prevent them from coming in anymore. And I think that's it. So we'll end it on the pretty truss of tomatoes.